units here, doing a lot of damage. That captain might go down, that rifleman squad might go down. Heavy casualties for the Americans, very heavy casualties. The Sherman really has not done a lot of work just yet. Currently, it's mostly just served as a deterrent for the Panzer IVs here. And this Panzer IV actually got armored skirts from shooting down that P-47 earlier.
Send your orders. What the hell am I meant to do with these recruits?
These guys are currently neck and neck. Notice that they have equal munitions and equal fuel income. And it looks like that Panzer IV is going to catch that Sherman with its armor exposed and its heat shells enabled. This Jackson's not going to be able to do anything. It doesn't have line of sight. This Sherman dies without even being able to do a single bit of damage to any of these Panzer IVs. More paratroopers deployed. One of them actually lands in the fire here and dies. And this Jackson is not going to last very long against this armor here. There's an AT gun shooting at it. There's two Panzer IVs. It goes down after just a few seconds of being alive. And that could spell defeat for the Americans because they have just lost all of their armor. Hundreds of fuel lost within the last couple minutes alone. And it looks as if your dad is securing even more territory in order to give it more fuel income. Looks like now he has advanced his munitions and fuel income just a little bit over MisterEasy. And the fact that your dad already has a rather large armor advantage here, he's not going to be able to do too much. MisterEasy's not going to be able to do too much in order to beat all this. More artillery coming in on MisterEasy here. He's not moving his units. Well, taking heavy casualties here. The Americans were forced to retreat. At this stage, it's hard to say what MisterEasy's going to do in order to secure victory because it looks as if the Germans are just about to occupy all of his resources, building another Panzer IV here. The Americans don't even have a single tank in production.
Reinforcements in. Welcome to the death factory, boys.
I would at this point suggest MisterEasy build an AT gun, but he doesn't even have the manpower for that. He needs to spend every bit of manpower he can in order to reinforce his units. In fact, he even sends his units when they aren't even fully healed because he just needs them in action right off the bat. With little fuel and munitions income, it's hard to say what MisterEasy is going to do in order to turn the tide of this particular battle. But he does manage to rout these assault grenadiers here. And hopefully for him, he's going to be able to take this field, but these Panzer Grenadiers are fighting ferociously for that area. These paratroopers are almost dead, but they do manage to escape just within an inch of their life. However, it looks like MisterEasy will be able to take this fuel back, assuming your dad does not send in any more reinforcements. He does have 3 Panzer IVs at this stage, which could prove to be very difficult for MisterEasy to counter. Now these machine guns and Thompsons and rifles are not going to do any damage to this Panzer IV here whatsoever. MisterEasy recognizes this and pulls back his units without the ability to secure his fuel.
Steady up, got your order. We're back to full strength.
But MisterEasy does manage to secure the fuel point in the bottom right of the map without anyone stopping him.
Gather round. I smell orders.
Meanwhile, the units are back to trying to fight these Panzer IVs, probably not too efficiently. Wow. A lot of units killed there within just 2 shots. These units are blobbed in very, very tightly together. Wow, 5 kills from 1 shell of a Panzer IV. That is absolutely devastating. I'm not sure what these units are trying to accomplish here. They are being repaired even while taking fire, and it looks like the infantry are not doing any damage to the tank whatsoever. This Panzer IV has paid for itself several times over now. 42 infantry kills on this one Panzer, 6 on the other, and 9 on the other tank. So it looks like these Panzer IVs are really, really efficiently microed, used very well, and MisterEasy does not have anything he can do to stop them right now. Even though he does have the fuel, so in his particular case, I would suggest he get some armor.
Krauts are taking one of our points. Squad numbers.
Perhaps at this stage he also needs some more bazookas. He does have the munitions, but as of right now he is not gauging this armor threat too well. He's trying to take this victory point to slow the bleeding of victory points here, but it's not going to go too well for him. He's going to be able to uncap it, but he's not going to be able to take this victory point outright. It looks like MisterEasy is back in action here, pushing against infantry units, trying not to engage the Panzer IVs unless he has to. Meanwhile, your dad does not want to engage those units either, for whatever reason. So at this point, it seems like MisterEasy has the distinct infantry advantage. He was even able to capture this point here. He is absolutely devastating these infantry here, but the moment the tanks come into play, MisterEasy is basically dead. Another bunker goes up here. Looks like it's going to be made into a command post building here.
Listen up! Listen up!
Panzer IVs are now engaging the infantry here. They are going to absolutely destroy these guys. They have absolutely no way of dealing with this armor. Recognizing that, they retreat. And if your dad gives chase, they're going to be able to destroy the major and the ambulance as well. But a few bazookas managed to dissuade the Panzer IVs from engaging. A few good hits as well from the Panzer IVs. One of them gets a little bit low though, but it does get its armored skirts mid-battle. But will the captain be able to actually do any significant damage to this Panzer IV? Will he be able to destroy it? Just a couple more good shots and he should take out one of these Panzers here. But it looks like he gets suppressed and that captain is destroyed. Both bazookas dropped and that Panzer IV is alive. Looks like MisterEasy is going to be a little bit upset about that.
Krauts show 300 points on their line.
But he does manage to recover both of these bazookas before running away. This Panzer IV is going to need some serious repairs before it's able to go back into battle.
All right, you dopes, listen up.
And if MisterEasy throws even a single rifle grenade at this stage, he might be able to take out this Panzer IV, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do that before it's repaired all the way up. These units are going to get a lot of pain for their trouble here. At this stage, I would say your dad is very solidly in the lead. 80 population to MisterEasy's 45. And in fact, MisterEasy is sitting on almost 300 fuel without building a single vehicle. He desperately needs to, and yet he does not want to do that. He sees how effective vehicles are for the Germans, but he seems to be very adamant in his approach to just reinforce his units and not really get anything else at this point. And don't get me wrong, he's engaging very well here, just killing another squad right here, but he does not fight the armor well. He's losing unit after unit to these tanks, and he does not have a way to counter it. Artillery going in, killing 2 squads in just a few shells there.
Frag grenades now available for action.
There. MisterEasy finally unlocks grenades. It's very late in the game, and he hasn't thrown a single grenade as far as I'm aware. And your dad is actually upgrading this area even more, probably going to make this into a machine gun nest, trying to ensure that this fuel sector is completely safe. He lets MisterEasy have this fuel, but it's not even benefiting MisterEasy in any way because he's not spending that fuel. And this Panzer IV is going to have a field day fighting this lieutenant, but MisterEasy is calling in the P-47 to engage this Panzer IV, but it's not going to be enough on its own. That lieutenant goes down.
The capture point is being overrun.
Another captain to replace the lost captain. And actually, your dad is getting another Panzer IV.
Someone get us out of here!
These rockets are not nearly enough.
Task complete. Crew ready.
Although surprisingly, MisterEasy does hold the victory points he needs. And these P-47s are dissuading these tanks from actually moving in any closer. These assault grenadiers are not going to engage effectively against riflemen at this range, and they're actually slowly losing this engagement, but they are taking the munitions, which is fairly important. More reinforcements moving in, a lot of bazookas with these units. Looks like MisterEasy is trying to focus on providing all of his units with bazookas to counter that armored threat, but he does not have enough bazookas. It looks like looks like your dad has dropped from the game.